how I live to be 100, I don't know. I didn't aim for it.
But you're still enjoying it.
You know, when you reach my age, a certain serenity descends on you because you can have no ambitions for the future. So you have to do the right thing because you can damage yourself very much.
You became famous as a politician for the idea of Realpolitik. That's a very pragmatic approach of politics.
I'm an idealist who believes, however, that ideals have to be related to practical possibilities, or that practical actions have to be inspired by ideals. I believe today, if one wants to solve the problems of this world, that one has to be inspired by visions. The invasion of a country, taking of hostages, killing some hostages, inflicting over 1,000 casualties, that this could be believed to be possible in the international system is amazing. Now here we have an attack on Israeli territory itself, whose purpose can only be to mobilize the Arab world against Israel and to get off the track of peaceful negotiations. There has to be some penalty. I think Israel has no choice except to invade Gaza and to try to put this kind of relationship to an end.
You have met in your political life many leaders, several times: Mao, Brezhnev, Putin, other autocrats, dictators, populists. Which leader was the most scary personality that you have ever met?
I don't like the word scary.
Or dangerous?
Well, in terms of capability, I would say Mao.
He killed almost 90 million people. Mao is still celebrated in China.
He would kill what was needed to achieve his objectives.
You have met Xi Jinping several times. Would you say that he has changed his personality and we have to deal with a different, more autocratic Xi today than a couple of years ago?
I think the early Chinese leaders that we met,
Deng Xiaoping,
like Deng Xiaoping, were easier to deal with because for them accommodation to the international system was of prime importance in order to build their economy.
How optimistic are you for the future of democracy?
I think democracy is in trouble. Now the life of people changes dramatically, and the inequalities of income are more obvious than they were in previous periods. So that the need for compromise and for understanding, which you and I believe are central to a democratic system, are in great danger. And that's in the West. And in the rest of the world, the easiest way to seize power is by control of the military and by control of government through authoritarian means. And once power is enjoyed, people are very reluctant to leave it.
Henry, from the perspective of a 100-year-old person, are Biden and or Trump too old for office?
Now, Biden is an elected president, and I don't agree with some of his policies, but I don't attack him.
Should there be, instead of a minimum age for an American president, perhaps a maximum age?
Look, let me answer your question this way. The point of view that I represent and that I have explained to you has no candidate in the presidency now. But on issues of national interest, I have supported Biden in the Ukraine war. So he's a different phenomenon from Trump, with whom I also have had friendly relations. But Trump has been so focused on himself that I think he would find it very difficult to unify the country.
Which political decision that you took in your career would you decide differently today?
You know, I'm often asked that question. I think the directions I wouldn't change, but there are tactical decisions along the way that proved wrong, like my proclamation of the Year of Europe was premature and therefore wrong. In the Vietnam War that is always mentioned, my overriding conviction was not to throw the government that had fought with us to the absolutists. And I thought we had to preserve this government that we had created, and that turned out to be incompatible with our domestic politics. But if we had acted otherwise, and by we, I don't mean me alone, or me primarily, but if America had acted otherwise and thrown South Vietnam to the wolves in any administration, it would have undermined the credibility of our alliances. So, should we have gotten out earlier? It's hard to say because our opponents would permit us to get out earlier only on conditions that would have looked like the absolute weakness of the United States and inability to protect them.
Henry, you could make a political decision and it would be immediately executed without any discussion. Which decision would that be? What would you decide?
On AI, I'm trying to bring together scientists and thoughtful people. The scientists have no evil intentions. Their intentions are good, but they're developing what they see. But we have to find a means of unite that with the purposes of freedom and coexistence in the world.
Will, in the long run, the machines serve human beings, or will human beings serve the machines?
That's the question of our lifetime. I think it can be avoided, but only by understanding the essence of this intelligence, which will also be able to generate its own point of view. It's the big challenge of our future, and it's on that level it's in the interest of China and other advanced countries, and eventually all countries, to join it, because otherwise they're in the hands of machinery that they don't understand. I'm very concerned with AI. You ask a question and you get an answer, and you believe in this answer even though you have no idea what the process is by which the answer is produced, and how the computer acquires its knowledge. Once these machines can communicate with each other, which will certainly happen within 5 years, then it becomes almost a species problem of whether the human species can retain its individuality in the face of this competition that it itself has created. This is the profound problem. We are now dealing with a genuinely different intelligence.
Henry, very last question. In 50 years, how should people speak of you in one sentence?
I first want to say, I don't worry too much about that. But I'd like to them to think of me as having been born in a free society and wanted to contribute to world order so that freedom isn't constrained by constant crisis. That's why I've devoted myself in various wars around the world to bringing them to a constructive end, and wherever possible, a democratic solution.